Welcome to the show. I am James Swanwick. Is light to moderate drinking harmful? The science says. Today we're going to look at the most recent science. If you are someone who drinks a seemingly innocent glass of wine or two per night, is that harmful? As you know, or probably know, there is a myth that has been going around for decades that moderate amounts of alcohol have health benefits. And these claims persist despite many studies in recent years rejecting this belief. The denial of alcohol's toxic effects may actually be reinforced by marketing from the beer and the liquor industries, certainly from the wine industries. There's that belief that moderate amounts of red wine benefit health. It's been out for decades now. New research, which was published recently in Nature Communications on March the 4th, 2022, appears to put a nail in the coffin of this cherished myth. There was a podcast, a guy called Andrew Huberman, who put a podcast episode out about 2 or 3 weeks ago. And it was all about the effect of alcohol on the body. And he was quoting this study that came out. So, and then the magazine Psychology Today also wrote about this study. So I've actually gone in and looked at a transcript of the Andrew Huberman podcast episode, and I have the article, the Psychology Today article in front of me as well. So at times as I present the science here, I'm going to read from a transcript of the Andrew Huberman podcast, and I'm going to read from the Psychology Today article. So just before I do that, and I'll let you know when I am quoting from them, by the way, but the question really I'd like you to ask yourself is, first of all, how much are you drinking? And if it is at least one drink a night, every night of the week, one or two, then you will definitely want to listen to the results of this. And if it's more than that, well, you'll certainly need to listen. I say the word need, but I would just strongly encourage you to listen and take this in. So does light to moderate drinking, and when I say light to moderate drinking, I'm talking about 1 or 2 drinks a night, okay? Does light to moderate drinking cause degeneration of neurons or nerve cells? Andrew Huberman said on his podcast that it's obvious that high levels of alcohol consumption, that's 12 to 24 drinks per week or more, is certainly causing neurodegeneration, in particular of the neocortex, and that is the outer layer of the brain that houses memories and houses our ability to think and plan. So drinking a lot, which is 3 or 4 drinks per night, every night, is clearly bad for the brain. And many of our clients who come through our 90 or 365-day programs are drinking at least 3 or 4 drinks per night, every night. So the evidence is out. It is clearly bad for the brain. This recent study finally addresses the question, though, of whether or not low to moderate amounts of alcohol consumption can cause brain degeneration. The title of this study is Associations Between Alcohol Consumption and Grey and White Matter Volumes in the UK Biobank. That is the United Kingdom Biobank. So just before the results, let me just explain. Grey matter are the neurons. They're the cell bodies that house the genome of the cells, okay? And white matter is the connections, the fibers, the axons of neurons. And it's called white matter because that tissue is surrounded by a fatty tissue called myelin, M-Y-E-L-I-E-N, I-N, which allows nerve cells to communicate with each other very quickly. So what this study did is it looked at the brains, both the grey matter and the white matter, of more than 35,000 generally healthy middle-aged and older adults in the United Kingdom who were drinking various amounts of alcohol. And here's what they found. Even for people that were drinking low to moderate amounts of alcohol, so 1 or 2 drinks per day, there was evidence of thinning of the neocortex. So loss of neurons in the neocortex and other brain regions. So if you're consuming even just 7 glasses of wine across the week, it's likely that there's going to be some degeneration of your brain in response to that alcohol intake. This study looked at people who on average were drinking just 1 or 2 drinks per night. Just 1 or 2 drinks a night. The seemingly innocent glass of wine you have at the end of the day, the couple of beers maybe it's a scotch, whatever your poison. And that's what it is, by the way, it is poison. So, again, that could be 14 drinks over the week. 1 or 2 drinks a night. Maybe you drink more on the weekends on a Friday night when you go out. But on average, 1 or 2 drinks per night. And what they found is that even for those people, there's evidence of brain damage, of thinning of the neocortex, loss of neurons and other brain in the neocortex and other brain regions. Heavy alcohol consumption has always been associated with brain atrophy, neuronal loss. Did I say that right? I said neuronal loss, and poorer white matter fiber integrity. And there has been conflicting evidence in small studies whether light to moderate alcohol consumption shows similar negative effects. But this UK Biobank study used high-quality brain imaging in these generally healthy middle-aged and older adults, controlling for numerous potential confounding variables to study the impact of light to moderate drinking. I'm going to read here from the Psychology Today article, which goes into a little bit more detail. Quote, researchers found negative associations between alcohol intake and brain macrostructure and microstructure. A negative association means that as one variable increases, that is alcohol consumption, another variable decreases, that is brain health. Specifically, the more alcohol consumed, the less brain volume was measured globally, the less grey matter volumes existed in different brain regions, and the less integrity existed in white matter microstructure. These changes resemble brain changes found in individuals with diagnosed alcohol use disorder, though still at a lesser degree. Notably, changes are particularly prominent in the frontal lobes, which house our highest order cognitive functions. End quote. Let me open the quotes again here from the Psychology Today article. Quote, the negative associations between alcohol intake and brain structure are already apparent in individuals consuming strikingly small amounts of alcohol, an average of only 1 to 2 daily alcohol units, and become stronger as alcohol intake increases. Researchers concluded the effects of alcohol consumption on brain volume interact with the effects of aging, which means the duration of drinking also contributes to brain changes. I'm going to open the quote again. This is really interesting. The reporter here of this article in Psychology Today says, quote, my mother would disown me and my grammar is appalling at the moment. My mother was an English school teacher, and she's very particular on having her sons have perfect grammar and enunciation. I'm failing her at the moment. In case incredulity, I still got it wrong. Mum, help me. And denial filtered out the significance of these results, they bear repeating. The negative associations observed between alcohol and brain changes, that is, loss of grey matter volume and white matter integrity, are detectable in individuals who consume between 1 and 2 alcohol units daily. Thus, consuming just 1 alcoholic drink daily could be associated with changes in the brain's grey matter volume and white matter integrity. Denial is a form of not knowing. It is a normal part of life. We eat an unneeded sugary donut and pay attention to the pleasure, but not to the calories and lack of nutritional value. Why remaining aware of the negative aspects of our pleasures ruins the ability to experience the pleasure may seem obvious, but not entirely easy to understand. But it does, and denial takes us out of the conflict. I suspect alcohol marketing, with its depiction of fun and pleasure, help effectively grease the skids of many people's denial. Yeah, that's powerful, isn't it? So there you go. The evidence is out. I didn't say it was going to be pleasant. It's not pleasant hearing, really, is it? If you're listening and you're drinking 1 or 2 glasses a night, you are causing immense damage, or at the very least, some damage to your brain. And if you're drinking more than that, you're causing a lot of damage to your brain, according to the science. If you'd like to do some more reading on this, just type in to trusty old Google, UK Biobank, and the name of the study, again, just to repeat that, is Associations Between Alcohol Consumption and Grey and White Matter Volumes. I'll say it one more time so you can type it in. Associations Between Alcohol Consumption and Grey and White Matter Volumes in the UK Biobank. Yeah, so I don't know what else to say, really. It's not pleasant reading. If you're a 1 or 2 drink a night drinker, I can't tell you how many comments I get on my social media posts or my paid Facebook advertising from people who absolutely rip into me because I'm out there trying to spread the word of health and vitality and encouraging people to, at very least, reduce their alcohol consumption, but also inviting them to consider stopping for good. And some of the comments I get are quite nasty. And they're not always, but often accompanied with, yeah, but the studies show that a glass of wine a day is really good for your heart. And I think to myself, no, they don't. No, they don't. We live in 2022. We've got so much more science available to us, much more effective studies. I mean, just genetic testing, DNA testing now. I mean, I've been reading so many stories online and seeing some news stories of how they solve these 30 and 40-year murder mysteries through DNA. There was someone just recently who got pulled over for a random breath test, and his DNA popped up and was linked to a skeleton that they found 30 years earlier, and he was, ultimately found guilty of the murder. Such is the advanced technology that we have today as it relates to DNA and genetics. So are we going to trust a study or studies that came out in the early 80s, which have been shown to have been funded by the wine industry, claiming that a glass of wine a day is good for your heart and good for overall health? Or are we going to trust the studies from 2022 with advanced technology and far more effective testing criteria and use common sense? I mean, I know people don't like the results, but it doesn't mean that results aren't accurate. So, it's like these comments that I get. I don't want to make this about me, obviously, in the comments, but I'm sharing this because it's a reflection of society in general, of people just trying to cling on to anything that gives them peace of mind to be able to drink attractively packaged poison, because that's all it is. That's all alcohol is. It's poison put in a very colorful, beautiful looking bottle and offered and sold to you by what I refer to as smiling assassins. The waiter or the waitress who smiles, "Can I get you a drink, sir? Can I get you a drink, ma'am?" Your friend saying, "Hey, can I get you a drink?" The hosts of the party who are trying to be great hosts, "Can I get you a drink? What can I get you to drink?" Hi, this is James Swanwick, and we're taking applications for our 90-day and 1-year stop drinking programs. Clients are mostly executives, entrepreneurs, and investors who have tried unsuccessfully and repeatedly to stop drinking but remain stuck in a frustrating cycle of stop-start, stop-start. Our programs are not AA, which has a reported 7% success rate. Our programs are not rehab, which has a reported 6% success rate. Our 90-day and 1-year programs involve a safe, fun, virtual community of high achievers with a process that boasts an incredible 92% success rate of clients reaching at least 90 consecutive days alcohol-free. We use the latest neuroscience and personal development processes to help rewire clients' brains around alcohol and minimize its importance in their lives. We will show you how to powerfully socialize with friends, family, and colleagues, what to say and how to say it so people don't mistakenly think that you're an alcoholic or have a problem, and how to eliminate the temptation of returning to constant drinking so you can finally break the stop-start cycle. To ensure client success, Project 90 can only accept 15 new clients each month. Some of those happy clients include John Keltner from California, who said, "I've lost 10 pounds." Susie Vaughn, a real estate broker in Tennessee, who said, "I've generated 20% more leads." Jessica Gaines-Jarbo from Kentucky, who says, "I've now got joy, focus, presence, and clarity." And Joe Worley from Michigan, who says, "My wife has the real Joe back." If you're an executive, entrepreneur, or investor who's sick of the stop-start cycle and the damaging effects alcohol has on your health, happiness, and family, and you're ready to regain confidence, become more present with your spouse and children, reduce stress, anxiety, and irritability, sleep better, increase focus and productivity, and feel better quickly, you're invited to apply to become a Project 90 client. Applicants can apply for an introductory interview by visiting alcoholfreelifestyle.com/project90. There's a link in the show notes which you can just click, but that link is alcoholfreelifestyle.com/project90. Application interviews are limited and are conducted on a first-come, first-served basis. If there are no remaining interview times available, wait a few weeks and try again. Let's get back to the show. I had my 44th birthday party in Venice Beach, California a few years back, and someone I've known for many years and who knows I don't drink brought me a very expensive bottle of red wine as a birthday present. Completely forgot that I didn't drink and gave me this bottle of wine thinking it was such a wonderful gift for me. I said, "Oh, thank you very much." And then someone actually reminded him that I didn't drink and he was mortified. He said, "I'm so sorry." But again, smiling assassin, like the idea that we would give someone something that is so damaging to us as a gift seems crazy to me. I mean, I know it probably doesn't seem that crazy to you yet if you're someone who's exploring the idea of stopping. It does to me because I haven't drunk since 2010. So I've had, good 12 years to warm up to this idea. People have these fancy wine cellars. They have these beautiful bottles. They show off the cellar. They build them into homes and houses that they're building. They display the fancy liquors at the bar. They they have beautiful lighting showcasing this stuff. Why? It's poison. They're just bottles of toxins. It's just culture has convinced us that this is something that we do. This is something that helps us relax. This is something that we drink or consume in order to bond. And yet the most recent studies show that even the smallest amount messes with our brains. My mother's husband is 80 years old, and he loves to drink. He's definitely not an alcoholic, but he has consistently, over many, many years, over 60 years, drunk at least 2 or 3 drinks a night. And he has increasing Alzheimer's and dementia. I've seen him go from pretty sharp 7-8 years ago to pretty dull. Not dull as in boring, but kind of just vacant. That's probably the word I would say, vacant. Forgetful, vacant, confused. Now, I am not a doctor, but the circumstantial evidence points to his lifetime of drinking habits. That's my suspicion. I can't say that definitively, but that's my suspicion. And it's funny because, his generation, he's of Irish descent and grew up in Australia where drinking is just celebrated. It's just absolutely celebrated. It's what you do. It's what the guys do when you get together. I mean, I did this all through my 20s and early 30s before I opened my eyes and woke up. But I can see the effects of 60 years of drinking in him now at age 80. And it's not pleasant to watch. And he still jokes about, oh, have a beer, have a couple beers. He still talks about it with such fondness. And, there's no changing his mind. He knows what I do for a living. He doesn't judge it. He doesn't say anything about it. He just kind of listens. But he still cracks open his beer and he drinks his wine and he still makes little jokes about it and still talks about catching up with the guys over at the local lawn bowls club and having a couple of beers and et cetera, et cetera. And at the same time, I can see the degenerative effects of it. Again, I'm not a doctor. I can't say it definitively, but that's my suspicion. So, this study, the associations between alcohol consumption and grey and white matter volumes in the UK Biobank, please do Google it, read it, dig into it a little more. I want to thank Andrew Huberman's podcast episode for bringing my attention to it. And then thank you to Psychology Today. The author's name is Timon Cermak, MD, and who wrote the article in Psychology Today. Like I said, do what you want with this information. I certainly want to invite you to, at the very least, cut back. Just to be a more conscious drinker. Having said that, I'm 12 years alcohol-free, and I can say definitively that I've had a life with alcohol and a life without, and without is far superior in terms of my physical health, my mental health, and my overall experience and enjoyment of life. And if you are clinging on to, but life's supposed to be lived, have fun a little. Well, I say, have fun a little, absolutely, by living an alcohol-free lifestyle. Because this notion that, live a little, relax, have a little pleasure now and then implies, the people who are saying that, it implies that those of us who are choosing not to drink aren't having fun and aren't having pleasure and aren't living a little. And I call BS on that. I suspect that my experience of life is either equal or superior to those who are drinking because I've got energy and clarity and focus, because I'm not dragging myself out of bed, because I'm not exposing myself to fogginess and irritability and strained relationships and poor communication. I'm not perfect. I'm a flawed human being like the rest of us, but I'm not intentionally pouring gasoline on the fire by drinking attractively packaged poison. And I can tell you that from the hundreds of people who've gone through our 90 and 365-day stop drinking programs, once they get into that habit of alcohol-free living, there's no turning back. They love it. Listen to the interview I did on a recent episode with Dr. Carl Krantz, who was drinking a 6-pack of beer a day and the strain that it was putting on his marriage. Listen to him now talk about how he and his wife are now more in love than they've ever been. That he lost, I think it was 12 pounds of fat and put on 10 pounds of muscle. I mean, he just looks like a beautiful early 50s male model. Not that he was an unattractive man before he stopped drinking, but damn, have a look at him now. Fascinating. People are now more present with their children. Talking about Angela Ponsford, who went through our 90-day program. She was drinking and wasn't present with her twin girls. She stopped drinking. She's now 3.5 years alcohol-free, says that life has never been better. She's got more energy, more clarity. She's more present, spends more time with her twin girls who are now in their early teens. Folks like John Keltner in California, who's one of our first Project 90 program members, who's now 3.5 years alcohol-free, more present with his son, lost so much weight. He actually had to buy smaller glasses because he lost so much weight in his face from not drinking. Folks like Steve Aguiar, who's now, I think he's now 2 years alcohol-free, joined our program in 2020, 2 years alcohol-free now, and now he's cycling something crazy, like thousands of miles. Energetic, has become a better leader in his workplace. These are the results that people generate when they stop consuming alcohol. I could go on, but I don't want to. Or I won't, rather. I won't bore you. So thank you for listening. And as always, if you are a first-time listener and you haven't yet got the Alcohol Freedom Formula Guide, it is an outline of the process that we take our clients through. You can get that for free. by going to alcoholfreelifestyle.com/guide. And if you'd like to learn about our 90-day and 365-day programs, I invite you to watch the video over at alcoholfreelifestyle.com/project90. And the links, by the way, are in the description of this podcast episode. So there you go. Light to moderate drinking can still cause changes to the brain. Thanks so much for listening, and I will catch you on the next one. Hi there, this is James Swanwick. Thank you so much for listening to the show. I would be so grateful if you would leave a review. That will help us climb the rankings and get our show exposed to so many more people who could really benefit from the content. You can do that by going into Apple Podcasts, rating the show, writing a little one-sentence summary, and posting it. That would be so amazing. Thank you. Likewise, if you would like to schedule a 15-minute exploratory call and apply for our Project 90 program, then you can do so by going to alcoholfreelifestyle.com/project90. If you'd like to get the free guide, that is the Alcohol Freedom Formula Guide, you can go to alcoholfreelifestyle.com/guide. Our YouTube channel is at alcoholfreelifestyle.com/YouTube. You can follow me on Instagram and TikTok at James Swanwick. Thank you so much for listening. We so appreciate you, and we'll catch you on the next one.